1 sec. It's not ready yet, though there's a slight delay. I think there's like a 1 minute delay or something like this, or a couple of seconds. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we are live on YouTube too.
Okay, cool, great. Fantastic. Do you know what I'm doing here with this object?
No.
You'll see in a second. Oh yeah. Oh, look what happened.
Right.
This is still cool.
Auto grouping for the win.
Yeah.
Or did it just fill with color the letters? Oh yeah, it filled the letters with color. Okay.
But that's fine. That's fine. I can use the razor, but that's what I wanted to do here. Or perhaps even. How are you doing, Cooper, today?
I'm pretty good. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll leave it like
that. Now we'll get a lot of questions about how you did that.
No, it's all recorded, you know, it's on YouTube now, so you can do the same. Yeah. For those that are still waiting for the session to start, you can use chat or comment section on YouTube to ask us questions. We'll be providing answers live, illustrating everything step by step. So please use the time, put your questions into chat window. We're happy to answer them. Hey, Kuba, have you heard about underground market of hair dressers?
Oh, I could imagine that there's something like that exists, because like that, you know, you could bypass any sort of thing besides, you know, regular shopping. Yeah. That's very necessary. But then I think the first thing that people, you know, start to notice, because you can take care of most of the things yourself, like, you know, everyday stuff, but like hairdressing is like that's what you notice, and you can most people cannot do anything about this, right? So yeah, I could imagine this is some sort of like thing that could go underground. So yeah, I haven't heard that, but yeah, I could imagine that it exists. So kind of crossed my mind that I could.
Okay. Hey, Ronnie. Great to have you with us. Obviously, I should use their services by now, but you know, this is still okay.
Yeah, I remember the one of the first webinars we had with Rashawn, you know, right after closures, and we were talking about this already. So right now it can be.
Oh yes, 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So let me see how you look like. Let me just do this. Here's Cooper for us.
Kathy says, my husband values his ears, so I am not allowed to cut his hair anymore. Yeah.
But I love this icon that represents you here, you know? This is so well done. All right. So shall we?
Oh yeah, we can start. We're just right. Yeah, there we go.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to Explain Everything. My name is Bart, and together with Kuba, known as Cooper here, we're delighted to provide you with this webinar, live Q&A with Explain Everything, where we explain basically everything, or at least we try. So this session is available on YouTube. It's recorded. So those that will come later, sorry, you can just watch recording or sign up for another one, as we're going to provide those Q&As, live Q&As every second week until there's a demand for it. How are you doing, Kuba, today?
Oh, very good. Thank you. Thank you. It's been a nice day. Yeah, a couple of changes on the website we did, and there are some more improvements coming very, very soon to explain everything, which we cannot just wait to share with you. So stay with us, and hopefully we'll mention some of that during this week. So you can probably expect the announcements on our blog very, very soon. What changes are coming to explain everything for iOS for now, but these changes that we will be announcing are coming to the whole platform very, very soon. So yeah.
Oh yes.
Expect that iOS version will be the first one, but yeah, all those changes are coming to all other platforms too.
And they are exciting. For this session, we can cover some if you'd like to know what's coming, but most of all, we would love to answer your questions as we receive so many questions over email, social networks. We provide those sessions so you can get answers from us as fast as possible. A few housekeeping items before we start. So as I mentioned before we began, ask your questions at any time using chat window, and we will respond to them live. This session is, of course, recorded. If there are any remaining questions, you can ask them using email, but what I would suggest to do is just to join us during one of those live sessions, because it's more fun to illustrate possibilities or examples and inspire you live. And this session has no agenda. It's all about your questions and the things you need to know from us. And we're longtime users of Explain Everything, so there shouldn't be a question we cannot answer. Do you remember any, Kuba, from past sessions? Something that was like, really difficult for you to answer?
Not really difficult, but there is a question already from Teresa, and that question kind of comes up very, very often. And I would love to answer that because we've just answered that on another session we just had like a minute ago with some teachers. And this question is in regards to links in Explain Everything.
Okay.
So I'll read the question. So how can I upload an URL into Explain Everything instead of downloading a file from my device? This is a very specific question, though we'll start with just the basics of links in Explain Everything. So just so you know that if you have a URL in a text box in Explain Everything, say something that starts with HTTPS, or something like this. These won't work on Explain Everything canvas. There are a couple of reasons why it is that way. Some of them are regarding the privacy concerns and things that teachers who work on the same canvas with their students and students using Explain Everything. There are some concerns. They don't want them to be able to open browsers and so on and so forth. That's why we also give the ability for admins to disable the browser in Explain Everything from the Explain Everything Add Media menu. And so you can control that. So we kind of have to figure out how we want to go about this. And that's something that we would love to do so that those links would work. And there is no current workaround besides just copying and pasting those links from the text box into your browser like this. So Bart's just inserted the browser from the Add Media menu, and then he can just copy paste the link in there. Or you can open your own browser, somewhere like a Chrome or Safari on your device, and and open it there. So, and since the browser functionality is also somewhat limited in Explain Everything on the canvas, just you can use your browser and use it that way. But the question was about say, upload a URL into Explain Everything instead of downloading a file from my device. So I'm just wondering what exactly is the expected outcome.
To link
here.
file that is somewhere out there in the cloud to be accessible, I guess, on a canvas of Explain Everything. So what we would suggest is to use the file in the project. There's a good reason why, as Kuba described, why Explain Everything does not fully allow us to use separate cloud resources by just linking to them. The way we created the software is that the project itself contains the file that you put to the canvas. So if I use different video files or documents, they will be stored together with project. The only exception is this browser that I have here as an object, because it will contain, it's like a view that allows you to show the page that you display in the browser. But the other elements, other objects that you can put to the canvas will be actually contained in the project. So we kind of like follow that because of the constraints and the privacy issues that might might surface with some schools. There are limits to what you can provide to students. That's why there are also controls in the app to remove some cloud repositories or even possibility of using this browser here on a canvas. There are those restrictions that just kind of like follow the same logic, that we want project to contain all the elements that are in, because you can save and allow others to use those assets, as we call them, for their purpose. But of course, we're thinking about how to open it more and have active links. And most probably those links will be, when we will provide them, will provide you with ability to jump back and forth different elements of the project at first. But then they might also use resources that exist somewhere outside of the canvas. But this is yet to come.
Right. So Thirsa kind of expanded. So I was just going to ask you. Thank you for providing additional context to that, because she says Miro.com allows you to copy a link and upload a Google slide, PowerPoint, etc. It is nice and to be able to copy my Google slide link and then quickly pull up the Google Slides. So you can do that with the Explain Everything browser feature. So you know. Because it works there, it works kind of different way than in Explain Everything, because their canvas is a little bit different than ours. We are more like a real whiteboard, kind of like emulating whiteboard that's interactive. Their canvas is a little bit different, and when you put in a Google Doc file or PowerPoint file into Explain Everything, it kind of gets converted into this interactive, fully interact, maybe not fully, but this like a object that you can do things with, right? Each page is a separate thing that you can move around and do. Though this is very interesting. That could be that could be a good suggestion to actually, because I envision it that way, that you could just paste the link into Explain Everything and it would just upload the document under that link, right? That's how I
Sure.
assume that's how it would work, because that's something that we could probably do, though it's very fresh, and we are looking into those kind of scenarios because we know that one of the main scenarios people use Explain Everything in is that one of the key features of Explain Everything that people use is upload the document into their canvas so that they can work on the document by annotating, by talking about because it's very easy to have like all sorts of different kinds of documents lying around, and we want you to be able to use them, and that's why we implemented that feature. And that's something that we could explore a little bit, and we're gonna do that. Though given the current situation, our plans got changed a little bit, so we are now working on our priorities, the stability and the performance of the app, so that we can ensure that everyone who uses Explain Everything has the same experience, and they, so that our services don't go down, given the huge amount of people that get interested in remote learning scenarios and so on. So that's our main priorities right now, but we will be exploring and expanding on those scenarios. So your suggestions looks very promising, I would say, because we want for you to be able to be very how would you say that? But yeah, we want to explain everything to be as flexible as possible, so that you're not limited in how you want to go about like importing something into your explain everything. For now, yes, please use either the Google Drive integration or just drag and drop the file onto your explain everything canvas. But yeah, that's how it works for now, though. Thank you for your suggestion.
That is a great one. I love that. So, but as Kuba mentioned, we're during this very special moment where there are a lot of schools, a lot of teachers that want to use explain everything, different remote learning scenarios that we covered during webinars, and that's the priority for us. So as Kuba mentioned, this kind of like change priorities just for a moment, you're going to, yeah.
Sorry, no, go on, sorry.
And it's not like it's a temporary thing. So you'll soon see, and this is also what you mentioned during first minutes of our Q&A, you'll see soon quite great features coming up, because we're kind of like unlocking our ability to add new elements to explain everything experience, because we kind of like solve this thing that I mentioned here for now, and we know that it works for many. However, if you observe things that go wrong with explain everything, just let us know, because we're looking in detail into each situation where kind of like teaching is disrupted because of things that might happen because of such a usage that we observe currently.
Right, and there's a follow-up from Theresa about the Desmos that we've mentioned on our previous webinar. So you can use the browser, depending on the device, the browser feature will be available to you or not, because the web browser is not available on the web browser version of Explain Everything. Sorry for, we are using the current version that Bart uses is an iPad version, and the functionality of Android or Chromebook versions are also very similar. Almost the same, actually, and the main difference is the web version. This feature is not available on the web version. So as you can see here, Bart just fired the Desmos website, and now he can just mess around with those functions here. And if you stream as we do right now, your students will be able to see it live, right? So exactly. If you want to record those, it kind of gets tricky. But if you are doing this live, then it's going to work as Bart's not doing right now.
But that's usually the scenario of remote teaching, lecturing at a distance with Explain Everything, where you use both conferencing tool to provide video stream and Explain Everything as a substitute for chalkboard or just a traditional whiteboard. And in this scenario, if you do that, it works great with Desmos and other web tools. However, just want to call out what you mentioned, because that's quite important. You cannot use web browser when you're using web version of Explain Everything, because we found it difficult to use a browser inside of the browser. Actually, you can do this on iOS, Chrome, Android version, but on web, this is quite tricky. Maybe in the future, it's going to be possible for us, and then we will provide this object that you see here. I see here browser and new video, but if I would use just a computer with web access to Explain Everything, browser would not be available. Whoops, I added a new one.
All right, there are a lot of questions coming in, so
all right,
we'll just ramp up a little bit. So thank you so much, Theresa. Yes, so answering the last question from you, all websites will work the same in the web browser. That's inside of Explain Everything. Okay, well, let's just start at the top. Okay, so I'm just seeing Explain Everything for the first time, so I'm really just observing, hoping to learn by watching and listening. Awesome. Okay. Well, hopefully this will, well, it might be a little bit chunked, you know, there are a lot of things happening right now on the screen, but I hope this is easy enough to understand so we can follow this. All right, so question from Chris. Is uploading to Explain Everything Cloud faster than another service like YouTube or Vimeo? I'm on rural internet, so it can take ages. So unfortunately, it all depends on your connection. Explain Everything servers are hosted on the top-notch servers, you know, that provided by AWS. So that's where our hosting is, and there should be no difference between one or the other. Though there is a slight difference between uploading to Explain Everything Cloud and uploading a video to YouTube, for
Other
example.
services. Yeah.
Yes, because when you upload to Explain Everything Cloud, you are not uploading a video, you are uploading a project, and we are taking care of, like, the cloud services of Explain Everything are taking care of the rendering of the video. So yeah, well, if you're not a techie, then it kind of sounds very weird, but what it does, it essentially takes the contents of your project and recording in the project, because we are working on a project right now. It's not a video file, right? It's a Explain Everything file, and it has all those elements in it and so on and so forth. So depending on the contents of your project, it can be either smaller or larger than the video you're trying to upload. So usually it will be smaller than a video, given the settings that we have. So it should be faster than the usual upload. Though if you put a lot of different types of files into your project of Explain Everything, say a lot of videos inside of Explain Everything project, then it will be huge and it will probably take longer than a video. So it, you know, but given the circumstances, the amount of, like, sending a 20 megabytes file to Explain Everything servers should take the same time as sending a 20 megabyte file to YouTube servers. Just so you know. Yeah.
By sheer bandwidth, yes. But you know what you mentioned about content, what is within the project is something that we can easily illustrate here, because I can use recording feature. I'm broadcasting from my iPad, but it should work as well in this situation. I'll use the record button here just to record very simple short animation of zooming in and out and maybe moving this object here. I'll stop my recording. Now, as you see, I have a timeline on the bottom of my screen that shows activities or manipulations or things that you did on a canvas. And as you see here, I used scale tool and I used hand tool. So if you uploaded this project to become a video on our cloud, what we actually upload is the project that contains those manipulations, because by principle, we think of projects in the cloud to be open to be repurposed, reused again. So the project is editable, and you can, let's say, remove audio track and record it again. I'll just do this. This is the second version of audio to the same project, where I move those assets hands-free, my hands are here, and I move this object here. And now I have like a updated version of the same project. So that's why we actually capture manipulations, not pixel by pixel of what is on the screen, because rendering this project into a video is taken care of by our cloud. So that's why Kuba mentioned the project might be small if you don't have a lot of assets or videos, but just slides, annotations, and audio. And that's usually how Explain Everything is used. And then upload will be faster for you, and the video will be available when you do this under the link that will now be visible here. So actually, this project will be like 8 megabytes, and I have some assets here. So that's interesting. That's quite small for a video project, but the MP4 that will play, that will actually stream under this link might be much larger, but that's
you
rendered.
can check that there's information about the
Okay.
size of the video once you open it. Just don't forget to press done.
Okay, so I'll press done. I might also open that here, right? So I use browser to access Explain Everything Cloud. It's still compressing. So we see that the project contains like it's 8 megabytes altogether, and soon video will be ready so we can check that. Not yet. So we can check that in a moment.
All right. Yeah, there are a couple of questions. Questions are ramping up really quick. So let's see. I want to invite, Kim asks, I want to invite students to my Explain Everything. Will that make a live audio chat so I can teach students with live audio? So the short answer to that is yes, you just need to enable microphone once you join to your Explain Everything project. As you can see down on the bottom of Bart's screen, there's then the microphone icon. So it is enabled. So this way, if I joined in, I'm not going to do that right now because we are on Zoom. And then if I join in, that the audio would be doubled and it's going to get crazy. So, but if you want to work with your students on Explain Everything and have a live chat, just make sure that they have the microphones enabled and that they use headphones. That's our suggestion because, yeah, it's very convenient to use so that, you know, the sound doesn't get an echo, you know, create an echo, and, you know, it's much more convenient with headphones. So yeah, that's a short answer. Keep in mind to not invite over, we recommend 8 people in projects. Though, you know, the hard limit is currently 20, but we recommend up to 8. So, you know, there's not too much going on the screen. But yeah. That's our recommendation for now.
We are going to provide some additional controls to make those open collaborative sessions more structured, but for now, just keep it small and you'll be good.
All right. Another question from Kim. When I invite people, the live video is disabled? Question mark. So yes, it is disabled. It just, the way it works, it's like it's not working as it does in Zoom, for example. So for example, we could just turn on Bart's camera and he'll be in the Zoom, because it works right now because we are not in the cloud project. We are Bart's actually working on his local project right now, and he just inserted a video and streams the contents of his iPad to Zoom. That's why we can see him. And once you open up the project for live collaboration, the live video will be disabled. And that's something that we kind of have to figure out, because it's not as easy with the current way Explain Everything is built, because we'd have to like support live streaming inside of a project, which kind of makes it hard to manage for now.
We do have a concept of that, but it's not yet.
Yes.
It's not yet available for you. It might be that we're going to provide this, as it is a feature of the technology that we use underneath, that it's possible. But you know, we need to think through different elements of Explain Everything experience, because you know what happens when you record and there are several people and their video stream comes from different cameras. What do you capture actually in that situation? Should it be captured or not? We need to think through those complexities that are related to the recording and the way we handle recording, so it works in a right way. But if there are more of you that would be interested in that feature, we're happy to consider that once we unlock ourselves, given the priorities of the moment.
Yep. And yeah, that's something that we definitely want to do. It's just a matter of time when. All right, there's another question.
You can think about using a live video feed for lecturing. So that's what I'm doing now that's the scenario where I broadcast my screen through different conferencing solutions. That could be any solution out there, Teams, WebEx, Zoom, as we're using currently. And in this scenario, it works just great.
Right,
Yeah. All you need to do is to use tablet for that. And as you see, we're going to have a nice piece describing how to set this up for lecture, and it will come out next week. So if you're interested in that scenario, there'll be a blog article about this.
Right, Kim, because Kim says, I would like to just the organizer to have a webcam, but not participants. Yeah. So this is one of the problems as well, because what's the source of the web live web object, right? You know, we kind of have to figure out that thing as well, because by default right now, I'm just going too deep into those technical aspects of that, but you know, it takes the source of your camera. So if many people are connected, which camera it is, of which person camera is used. So things like that, we need to figure it out. Though, why is it the reason also why it wasn't very high priority thing is that we know that people use, mainly teachers and, you know, companies as well, use Explain Everything as an addition to their already already used conferencing software. And they are using it anyway, as a whiteboard, as an extension of their conferencing software. Hence, we didn't want to mess with that as well. So there's a video and here's a video. We're just using the video right now just to make it a little bit more Explain Everything oriented. But usually when you want to have an experience like that, we recommend using external external software, conferencing software, where you can have your camera in there and then invite other people to your conferencing meeting, like
think of
remote.
this piece of live video during collaboration as a solved problem, and it's solved by conferencing tools. And we're kind of like trying to solve a different problem. So from the perspective, what we're trying to do is we're trying to solve a problem of ideating and working without a structure on the canvas of the collaborative whiteboard. And for that, video stream is not necessary. It's useful, but can be provided by those conferencing tools where you have it. So if you combine both conferencing tool and Explain Everything, then you have both of the best experiences in terms of live video feeds and collaborative work without any structure. So that's why we're not like rushing with adding this functionality, because it exists in conferencing tools.
And it already answers a question from Gabrielle. Can I put a bit of live video of myself and at the start of EE and then continue with talking across slides of the rest? So depending on your scenario, you want to have a separate video for each slide, because each slide is kind of like a different scene. You want to think of slides as scenes. If you want to have if you don't want to have a separate slide, you can use the infinite canvas of Explain Everything and put all your content on a single slide and then just move around, just like Bart does right now. Though this will work only in a scenario when you record a video, right? So where you create a video yourself, record yourself talking, create an explainer like video, which you want to later share to your students. So I assume this is the scenario that you want to go with. And yeah, just like Bart does right now, if he presses record, just as he did.
But should we demonstrate this, Cooper?
Oh yeah, we could.
Okay. So let's do the following. I'll just find some PDF like evolution. This is something we used last time as well. So I have like a short presentation where I'll use this presentation, maybe show you two things which you can do with this. I'll use this presentation to add separate slides to my canvas. So that's the option here. I choose separate slides. Now you see that I have 5 slides. So I am on the slide number 1 with all of those questions and answers and everything that we have here. But I added new slide, that's the slide number 2, and the remaining slides. And if I would want to use a video of me, I can easily add new video element. That's me again. Hello. And you can do funny things as I started with, like, you know, you can mask your picture here if you do 2 objects. I'll sell my secrets here, but this is quite fun if you think about it. I just did 2 objects and I will fill red with white. And after ungrouping it, I have like a separate new object that can be a mask to my my video here. All right. And I'll remove those objects. I don't need them anymore. And this is how you can add video to your slide. Now, if I turn record on, hello, this is Bart explaining evolution of medium on slide number 1. I stop my video. As you say, video plays here. And this is a video object and recording that exists on this very slide. As you see, there's a 6 seconds of recording. You can see that in the lower right corner of this slide. And I can continue to explain evolution of medium without any video object recording, say here. The evolution started with clay tablets long time ago, and now we do have all benefits of multi-touch tablets. So that's a recording without video. And if I render this video here is kind of like a nice initial scene, but then I can continue without any video at all. The only thing that I wanted to call to your attention here is that when you're using object, as you see this object, this is a recorded video because I added a new video and I use this and this. Oh, let me show you one more time, maybe on this slide. I'll add a new video object. And this video object says here 0 seconds. It is still a live video feed until I press record, because then this object will turn into a recording of me speaking. So I can actually record it here using this control separately from the slide recording, or I can trigger on slide recording on the bottom of the screen, and this will automatically trigger recording of this video object. I hope it's not too confusing, but you can independently create video, like here, I'm doing one, and then play it and loop it. For example, this is a very short object that I can then use on the canvas of my whiteboard when explaining. Or, that's the second option for you, you can add new video. That will be live feed, but when you press record, it now records together with my movement, because I'm moving this object and I'm recording this feed. So when I stop, I can rewind both what was captured as a video object and a movement of this object. Kuba, is that too crazy or complicated? What do you think? We went over the top, huh? Kuba, are you with us? Hello, hello?
I was muted, sorry. I was trying to talk and I was muted. Okay, so yeah, no, it's all right. Though we are getting a lot of questions about availability of this feature. So for those of you who don't see that, I assume you probably are using Explain Everything over on a web version in your browser. Bart, can we show your browser so that we can show what are the options available on a web browser? Because
oh yeah,
like we said at the beginning of this whole section, because of the limitations of the like cloud projects, the collaborative projects, we are not able to support the live video inside of a cloud project right now. That's why you probably don't see this option if you're on the web browser. So because every project created, excuse me, every project created in a web browser is automatically a cloud project, which could be open for collaboration immediately. So once Bart opens up his web browser, he'll be able to present how those options look there. So if you're on a Chromebook, though, please download Explain Everything app from Google Play, because that's where it's available. And don't we don't recommend using it in your web browser, Chrome web browser. But if you're on a Chromebook, go on Google Play and download the app version. It has more features than the web browser, because it supports your local storage and so on and so forth, and the integrations as well. So that's the suggestions we have. So on the left hand side, there's a view of Bart's web browser, Safari there, and
yes,
you see once he starts a new project or opens an existing one.
I'll just create one.
Okay, we'll be able to show you how it looks in the web browser.
Okay, do you hear me still? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I just started a new project in the browser, and I'm going to join this project as well using my tablet here. So here's a connection code. I can use this code on my tablet. You can try to do it as well if you want to join us on the canvas of this whiteboard. So I'll use the code here, and I'll join this project. As you notice, there was like a connection. There was information that new user connected. That's me again. So there's two of me on the left side. Here I'm on a web. I'm using web version of Explain Everything. Right. Okay. And here I'm using tablet. And now we can show you by this. Oh, Katie already is with us. Great. Hey, Katie. Feel free to roam around. We won't be offended if you'll move or reposition something or add something nice to the canvas. So feel free to explore. Now here on the tablet, I'll show you what options I have when inserting new objects. And you see, I can add browser, I can add equation editor, but here on my computer, I only can add screenshot or picture. So those small differences, like placeholders or images from Unsplash here on available on tablet, they do exist. There are differences between platforms. However, we work in order to have like a same set of functionalities on every platform. That's our goal. So those differences exist, but they will over time disappear. With some exceptions, there are some things that we cannot do the same across all platforms, as this example that we provided you, browser that can be used on a tablet, but not you cannot initiate a browser using a computer. However, as you see, we try to work around those issues. So if we have a browser here, I'll go to Drive, Explain Everything.
So right now you're using your iPad, right?
Yes, I'm using my iPad.
Yeah.
But it's also visible for those that are using computers, because what we do is a little trick here. We actually do the snapshots of what is within the browser to show to those that cannot use browsers on their end because they're using computers, and Explain Everything is in the browser.
So there was a question regarding the recording the browser. I'm trying to find it right now because there were so many. It was in Q&A. So for students that are live with me, Desmos will be easy to show and it will be interactive. If I want to record for students that couldn't make it to the session, Desmos would not video correctly. So yeah, it kind of works like as you see right now between the two versions, it's almost the same thing. So that was a question from Jennifer. So the way it works, it just captures the frame of your interactions on the web browser and then just sends it to other devices. Sorry for getting technical again, but yeah, it will not capture like, you know, entire process of those interactions, either during collaboration or in the video that you record, because, well, websites are a little bit more complex to stream inside of an Explain Everything project. So yeah, you know, that there are generally, then the way Explain Everything works kind of allows you to do really fast things when it comes to editing content and recording the content and re-editing those recordings, though there are some limitations that comes when, you know, that, you know, well, I won't phrase it correctly, but that there are some limits that comes with that, right? And this is one of them. But
Yes.
we'll figure it out eventually. This is just, we need our collective developers' minds to figure it out, and we'll get there.
And we have a great team. They're working about all of those things, and they're trying to solve those differences, and, you know, trying to make a user experience best as it can possibly be. So just keep in mind that we do care for what you ask us for, and we're eventually going to provide you with what you need.
All right, so there are a couple of questions regarding similar aspects of Explain Everything. So, question from Heather. I was wondering how we can invite students to chat with us in a small group safely. Is there a way for them to be in a waiting room, such as with Zoom? Also, once you create a link and then delete it from your project, is it still accessible for students to use? So the first part of the question, it kind of goes back to what we've answered previously. If you want to have this sort of functionality like a waiting room, waiting rooms are kind of new for Zoom. I'm not sure whether they were available like a year ago or so, but, you know, they are also on fire right now with the amount of people that are interested in their solution. And we don't support such thing for now, though you are able to control some of that. So there are no waiting rooms for now. There are changes coming into Explain Everything that will allow you to have better control over how people can interact with the content and what they can and cannot do. And these changes are coming soon. Though,
Kuba,
yeah.
what do you think about opening a session without permissions to change contents? Because those sessions that you open, those Klaus projects, will stay there and will be always open for those that you shared link with, right?
Yeah. But then,
how about this
there's,
solution?
you know, but because the question was about the waiting room. So there are kind of workarounds that you can go and do, though they will not function the same way. Like Bart said, you can just disable the editing functionality, though your students still will be able to chat unless you disable this for them on like school level, you know.
Yes.
So, you know,
right.
there are so many angles that you can go about it. So I would rather answer that it's better to use like Explain Everything in tandem with some other conferencing solution which supports such thing. So, and the other part of the question was, is there a way for them to be in the way? Oh, sorry, no, not this one. Also, once you create a link and then delete it from your project, is it still accessible for your students to use? No. So they won't be able to access if you delete it from your project. So if you want them to have you know, access to that, you will have to have it in your projects, though they can download a file from that project, like a project file, and upload to their projects on their devices or their Explain drive, and they will be able to keep it there. We are working on a functionality that will speed it up a little bit, but right now you have to have the project that you've set up for your students will remain there. Will have to remain there if you want them to have access to it. And if you want to delete that, they will have to create their own copies of that project. So because Heather says, I'd like to disappear once I've exited like Zoom. So yeah. We'll have to figure this out, because right now those projects are essentially cloud rooms, right? And an option to have an instant room that will disappear upon exiting would be is a thing that some people expect, though as we said before, some of these features overlap with existing conferencing solutions that are already in use, used by so many other Explain Everything users together. So that's why we don't prioritize them as high for now.
So you're doing almost all of the work now, Kuba. I'm just playing around. So this is, please continue.
Yeah. I can see that you're having a lot of fun on that project. Some people were asking in chat, what's the code of the project? So if you could paste that in.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Go ahead, and let's try to answer as many questions as we can. But in the meantime, I'll just post to the chat window in Zoom the connection code to the session, so you can explore by yourself.
So Thierry asked, where do I get EE if I use Office 365? We don't have like a single sign-on for Office 365 now yet. It's coming in the future for sure. We don't know yet when exactly. It's not on the timeline for now, but depending on your device, that if you are on a desktop PC, the version available to you is the web version. If you are on an iPad, then you can download Explain Everything from the App Store. And if you're on the Google Android device or Chromebook, you can download it from Google Play. And if you're on the Mac, then you can also use Explain Everything in the web browser. We
see more and more requests coming from those that are using Windows machines, so we're taking that seriously. So far, we have on our roadmap some integration with Teams. So as Kuba said, the other elements, like let's say native app that would work also offline on Windows systems, are going to be available, but we cannot like confirm when exactly. So right. For the time being, go ahead, Kuba.
So because Thierry asks, so I can download the app if I'm using iOS device. So yeah, you can download Explain Everything Whiteboard from the App Store, Explain Everything Whiteboard from Google Play for Android or Chromebook. Yep, those are the apps that support the, like, for example, this live camera feature. All right. So there's been a lot of questions in chat, but I'll try to finish with Q&A section first. So can you add multiple pages, or do you have Explain Everything from one page? A question from Roberta. And then, well, I assume it's about PDFs or documents, or is it about slides? Or either way, we can show how that works. So you can have multiple pages in Explain Everything. Each page or each slide is a kind of a scene, slides and JPGs. Okay, so yes, you can insert. Well, I don't think there's a functionality of importing multiple images as separate slides for now. You can definitely import PDFs, presentations, and documents as separate slides.
Correct, because you have the structure of the pages. You have the different pages, and we can, by this selector here, choose to have each of the page as individual slide. But with images, that would be interesting. So that's a good suggestion.
Yep. So what you need to do is just to add a new slide just by pressing the plus button on the slide sorter in the lower right-hand corner, and add your content there, and then another slide, and then add your content there. So that's how it would work when importing multiple JPG files. All right. So it's more of a statement from here. So the question: I use Adobe Connect to share my screen and then record and send the link to students. Okay, yeah, that's how people use it as well. That's what we are doing right now. Actually, we are recording this whole session in Zoom while streaming to YouTube and sharing the view of our screen.
Yes.
Right. So that's
Actually, we don't even suggest to use this recording that we haven't explained everything for, like the same thing that you do on a conferencing call or while lecturing through different conferencing solutions, because explain everything recording is great if you want to repurpose the content later. It's not for doing the video that we'll just play. It's for doing something either together collaboratively, and we can show this real quick, or having a content that then you want to change over time and reuse. So I'll just show you what is possible with the recording, just to paint a better picture for you. You remember, Kuba, the Crash Derby that we did the other day?
Oh yeah.
Can you join this project so we can demonstrate that?
Yeah, I would love to, but we have like 20 questions more. So
okay. So let me just quickly, Katie and others, there are two more explainers on the canvas as well. If you could grab those cars that I just added and let's do the recording real quick together so we can show how the recording explain everything works. So I'm using red car. If someone could help me with blue or yellow car, we will just crash here. I'll press recording so we can do the collaborative animation, so to say. So Kate is using the red car. Okay, so when you're ready, I'll just press record. And this is a live recording of the Crash Derby, and cars are going around and crash. Right. So what happened, I'll just stop recording here and I'll show you what happened, is that we captured all the manipulations and now we can play it back. And we could like add new elements to this recording here. I'll just, instead of playing it, I'll just record again and add some smoke and fire to this crash. So that's new element of the recording. So explain everything is great to explain things visually when you can add layer by layer new elements to the animations that you can create even collaboratively as here. So this is a different take on recording than, let's say, with recording this session over Zoom and YouTube. This is just, yeah, different in nature. Please continue. Let's continue with questions so we can answer as many as we can.
Okay. One sec. I'll just reply to the chat. All right. Okay, so functional questions. Hi, I am from Katie. I am not able to cut from one slide and paste to another slide. Is this possible? If yes, how? So you want to use an inspector for that. There's an inspector tool in all versions of Explain Everything. It's available in the on the toolbar. Here it is.
Let me show you. I'll take those two cars, the blue and yellow one. So this is inspector here. It's just this icon. I'll show you this icon real quick. That's the inspector here. Sorry, there is a delay, but now you can see. And if you choose inspector, you can go to this group here, edit. You can select objects that you want to move to the other side, slide, and just copy. So now I have them in my clipboard. I can go to slide number 2. Oh, that's an ugly slide. I'm going to remove this. And with inspector, I can put those objects here and use them as I need.
Awesome. Yeah, that's how you do it. Just inspector, edit tab, and copy and paste. That's how you do it. All right. So there's a question about the platform differences. We kind of answered that already from Roger. I have a Chromebook that can use Play Store apps, and I have the EE app on it, and I love it. Thank you, Roger. And I noticed that the browser version is very similar, but has some differences. There are a few things I like better in each version. Which version is considered better? So performance-wise, definitely app will be the go for. If you have the ability to have the app, you want to use for performance reasons, you want to use the app on your Chromebook, since Chromebooks are, well, not all of them. There are some high-end Chromebooks that are really, really fast, but most Chromebooks that you see in education purchased by schools are slower compared to regular PCs. But so you want to have an app that instead of using it on in a web browser. Though I would love to hear what you prefer in the web version, is because maybe there are things that we could improve on the app version. So if you could reply in the chat, that would be great. Meanwhile, we'll go to another question.
And for those that are interested in insights, what kind of differences exist between versions? There is a article that we have in our help center where you can look closer into those differences between different versions, offline, online mode, and features, and everything. Is you can find everything here.
Okay. Another question from Kathy. When I want to drop a file from my Google Drive, I am not able to on my HP desktop. I have to go to my iPad to do it and then go back to my desktop. Why is this? So HP desktop, Google Drive. That's an interesting question, because I'm trying to imagine how it would work. Are you using a Explain Drive app? No, there's a sync folder that you would use on a desktop, right? And then you would drag and drop a file onto a web browser. This should be possible. And if it doesn't work for you, we would love to learn about this, because this may be some odd scenario that we would kind of have to look into. So, because what you do usually, you just take a file and drop it onto the canvas on your web browser, on your desktop computer, and it should work on for both devices.
Okay. So the next question.
So we'd love to learn more about this. If you could just reach out to us to the email that you've received from the invitation from, that would be great. Connect@explaineverything.com.
We can dive into details of that one.
All right. How secure is Explain Everything? We are not allowed to use Zoom due to security for our students. Yeah, there were some concerns regarding Zoom. Well, there are so many ways you can just limit the ability for students to interact with each other, and how it is set up for your school, that it can be like cloudless, even if you want it to be. So you can just stick to like basic functionality of the whiteboard, and some schools do that. So but it all depends on how what are your school policies and how you want to go about it. So there's like no universal answer to the question, because it all depends on the school policy and district policy and so on. So,
and it's so dependent to the region that you are in. So we try to cope with many different situations, providing what you need and just looking into limitations that you have. And one of the possibilities is using offline app that Kuba mentioned about. But at the best, try to provide us, just contact us and provide us with a description of your situation or the policies that you use that Explain Everything would need to follow those policies or rules that you have, and we'll show you what kind of limits it puts on Explain Everything, or with which version, or with what kind of limitations you can use Explain Everything.
All right. So there were the questions from the, okay. What video conferencing works well with Explain Everything? I tried Google today, but on an iPad. It was pretty useless. Our school doesn't want to use Zoom. Any suggestions? So we have an article about this on our help center. There are links to other solutions that we recommend. Actually, Google Meet and Zoom are the two most common on that, and there's the Microsoft Teams as well that people use with Explain Everything.
From our experiences, it works good across the board. It's just, this is a matter of choice and what works best for you. I tried that personally with each of those solutions that Kuba mentioned with good results. So it's a matter of what you think works best, because there are different tiny differences in, let's say, delay or quality of a video that is streamed through each solution. So it's actually it requires a bit trial and error to discover the best mix for you, but eventually you'll get there. I'm pretty sure. And please use the Help Center article. Kuba, do you remember the?
Yeah, I just posted it in the chat.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right. I was just replying to a question. Let's get back to the chat questions. All right, I used to be able to open and expand everything from Google Drive. That feature doesn't work anymore. Now I have to open file from Google Drive. I missed the old function. Could you bring it back? Oh, that should be working. I'm not sure. Maybe it was maybe it's a file type that wasn't supported, because it depends on the file type, whether explain everything shows up or not in the open-in. You should be able to do that. I actually did that today. So we'd have to look into this, because yeah, I'm not sure why it wouldn't be there.
It might be some sort of bug,
or it might be a bug. Yeah. So please let us know, and via the email, and we'll try to find out what's the reason behind this. All right. Oh, no worries, Chris. Chris says Google was useless, not EE. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, we have like positive experiences with all the platforms. So I guess it's more about finding the right one for you. Okay.
What about the question about stealth mode?
Oh yeah, I was leaving that for the end. Okay, let's because there are so many questions coming in. So let's do extend this a little bit and try to answer a couple more, so that you folks don't leave empty-handed. All right. So question from Karen. Our school has our EE codes. Do students need them, or just teachers? We want to use EE for collaboration projects with teachers. So that's a great question. So there are two ways you can go about it. If you want your students to work independently on their projects and have access to all the features in Explain Everything, they will need to have their own code, their own active license. If you don't need that and want your teachers to be content creators, let's say it that way, then your students won't have to use codes and won't have to have a license. So those are the two routes. The reason behind this is that if you have a license, you can invite anyone to your project. So even if your student doesn't have a license, they will be able to join as long as you are in the project that you've invited them to. So yeah, and if you want them to have the ability to create their own copies of their project, or record themselves, create their moments of understanding and record group work or so on and so forth, then they will have to have their own license. So, but they can join your projects with a free account without a license. So that's
the situation. You're a teacher. Here you have subscription. You can open cloud projects that are accessible for any student without subscription if they only use code, and you're available on the project. So that's important. So those are students here. If it happens that you're not on this project that you started, and student without license and even without registering to Explain Everything account would want to access such project, they will be in kind of like a waiting room that the explainer will say that there must be a registered user on the project for them to access. However, if they would even sign up for free account, they will be able to use that project. And free account comes with limits. You can use that up with up to 3 projects. Each project can contain 1 slide and 1 minute of recording, but still those students, once they have free accounts, would be able to access project that was provided by teacher of subscription and work on the project.
Okay. All right, Teresa had some suggestions for the questions about the Google. I'm wondering if she has Google File Stream installed on her PC. Or maybe, yeah, maybe that could be it, or maybe it's like in the web browser. Yeah, we need to kind of take it as, you know, case by case, because there are so many angles in that case.
Yeah.
All right. Will there be a way to cut out a piece of the document I don't want? The cutout tool just cuts what I do want. Sometimes I just want to cut something out. Yeah, that's a great question. For now, we recommend just to have a simple answer to that question, to use the eraser. You can just erase parts of the things that you don't want.
You mean from the document?
Yeah, like from the document, from the picture. From your drawing, you can, well, the only thing that won't work is the video, but any other object you will be able to erase with the eraser, or you just hide it out. Because yeah, the cutout tool, we should rename the cutout tool into like duplicate or some other name, because it just
replicates the selected
replicate tool. Yeah.
But keep in mind that with the document, the options to use erasers is to use sorry, not eraser. Yeah, eraser are limited. I'll just show you one thing. I'll just put this 1 slide of my PDF to the canvas, so it's visible here. And as I could use my eraser, that's the note to erase drawings. I can erase this little guy, but I will not be able to erase document, because that's the PDF object on the top of the canvas. There's a way to go around this. So you can actually erase part of the document, but you would have to turn it into an image. And this is like I know it sounds complicated, but it's not. Every image can be erased. So I'll just use the replicator tool that we just mentioned, that it should be called the replicator tool. And I just took a copy. I replicated the part of the PDF that I have. So this is a PDF. That's the PDF. I cannot erase that, but image created on a canvas from PDF, although it looks the same, I can erase this. So I can use this third mode of eraser that erases pictures. And as you see, I can erase this version of the same page.
Right,
so
and so, right, sorry.
So keep in mind that PDFs won't be able to be used that way, so you can erase content. However, there is one trick. You can overlay this PDF. There are, like, let's say, things that you want to cover. You can always cover those elements by adding new objects. So for example, here I can add white object with white border just to cover some content of this PDF, like that. And I can join those objects so they move together. However, I can always reveal what is behind by using this object here. So that might be a good thing to think about and use during your practice, that you can gradually reveal the content of your PDF without erasing anything.
Right, sorry, it was my bad, because I thought that you could just erase PDFs too, but yeah, I forgot that you could. Yeah.
We surprised Cooper. Oh, that's something.
Yeah.
You know everything about Explain Everything. You know, this is a quite complex software. It looks simple, just a whiteboard for drawing and having fun, but in fact, there are so many possibilities that sometimes we are surprised ourselves. That's why we do this together, not alone, right?
Oh, yeah. So Roger got back with the feedback about the web version. Says on the web version, when bringing up in multi-page PDFs from Google Drive, you can choose which pages get brought in and how they get brought: single page, vertical, horizontal, or on separate. So Roger, I'm happy to inform that this feature is also available on app versions as well. Since you said you were using Chromebook, and I think the feature is also available on the Google Play version of Explain Everything for Chromebooks when importing PDFs.
Yeah.
And I'll just check it really quick. Meanwhile, we could jump to a question from Lisa. Will I ever be able to organize own clip art into folders? Yeah, we would love to. We would love to do that. Sometime in the future, definitely.
Yes, we work on clip art, so now they are more powerful than before, because I don't know if you noticed, but on iOS, when you add content from your clip art, you actually add explain everything object. So I added this article here, and when I use inspector, as you see, this is not an image anymore. This is a group of objects that I can independently change. And now I ungrouped this structure here. So this is something that the clip art allows you to do on iOS, not on other platforms, but we roll out those improvements across the board, so you can expect some nice new elements to clipboards, including organization of folders in the future.
I was wrong again, probably, because I see that when I import the document, but I'm really because all right, yeah, they add as separate slides. Sorry, Roger, you're right. I'm just, yeah, I guess this webinar just took too long for me. Yeah, you're completely right. This feature is coming to explain everything on the Google's web store, on Google Play Store version. Sorry. Yes, it will be there. It's not. It's in works, probably. I'm not sure where it's going to be available, but it's one of the things that should be available. So sorry about that. You're right. It will get there. Because right now, when you import a PDF or a document to a Google Play Store version of Explain Everything, it will import as separate slides right now. Okay. Awesome, Roger. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, we can. Oh, all right. So one more question from Lisa, the final one from Kathy, and we're good.
The final one is on stealth mode, right?
The final one is stealth mode.
Okay.
Well, okay. A question from Lisa. Will there ever be a mirror effect tool like in Sideboard? So I turn to another side, it moves everyone to that same. Oh, to another slide. Sorry. It moves everyone to that same slide. Yes. Yes. So this is one of. Sorry.
And it will come soon. So this is not something you'll wait long for. The team is actually wrapping up, providing those features for collaborative, more structured collaboration. And what we will provide is a change that will address those issues on all platforms. That's why it's taking so long. We have it ready on one platform, but we need to make sure that it works across the board, because currently we see more and more of you using Explain Everything, using different devices, using different systems. And that's why we want those new elements, including this, ability to take everyone from one slide to another, to be revealed on all platforms together.
All right. So we can get to the final question. What is stealth mode?
Stealth mode. Oh no.
Okay. We always leave that to the final. As a final round, final boss. What is the stealth mode?
I'll start new project and I'll share my screen again, so you see both devices. That might be easiest for us to explain what is the stealth mode. So, and my computer is getting a little slow now. Okay, you should see my screen. Can you confirm, Kuba?
Yes, I can see both of your screens, the computer and the
All right.
tablet.
Okay, so we have, oh, here's Cooper for you again. All right, so I'll join this project here. So we have two users, at least, and two users of the project, and you can join us as well using the same code here. So now you see two of me again on the project, and here I'm on tablet, and I'll just provide you with, I'll add an element like a rectangle just to show you what I see on my screen.
So Bart, could you do that with the math keyboard? Because we had a question from Kathy asking about the math keyboard as well. So for those of you who don't know, there is a math keyboard in Explain Everything, but it's available in Explain Everything apps. So as we mentioned before, iOS App Store version and Google Play Store version. So not yet available in web version. But yes, there is a so-called equation editor, which you can use in Explain Everything apps.
Like this. Like that. Okay, so let's say we're solving this, right? And that's my equation here. I will quickly show you the bounds of my screen because that's going to be important. And I don't want to cover my beautiful equation now. So that's the object to show you the bounds of my screen. That's what I see on my tablet. And the stealth mode allows you to move across the screen without changing anyone's point of view. So here, I don't know why I don't see my equation here. Okay, now I see it. All right. So stealth mode allows you to move across the screen, across the canvas, without changing anyone's point of view. So I'm now using the stealth mode that you see on just here. There's this ninja mode turned on, as you see on the right side of the screen. I'm on my tablet, I have my stealth mode on. That means when I use the pan and zoom tool here, I don't change the perspective of the user that you see on the right side of my screen. However, and this user independently can also scroll across the canvas and add new elements to it as we speak, right? This is a different perspective of each user, different individual perspective that they can use. However, if you turn the stealth mode off, what will happen is that you'll return to this main area of the screen visible here. So let's say I scrolled somewhere and I will now turn the stealth mode off and I'm immediately brought to this main view. So if I turn off stealth mode on both of my documents, look what happens. I can use tablet on the right side to guide everyone around the canvas. So I'm repositioning the screen on the right side just to show this element, and my device on the left side, that's my computer, follows, right? So that would be, let's say, second piece of content that I want to show, or I can move to the first one. At any point, the user can use stealth mode not to be affected by those changes that, let's say presenter does. As you see, I'm in the presenter manipulating the main view. So you see that I'm kind of like moving to this slide number 2. But the user on the left side, since the user here uses stealth mode, does not follow. But he or she can press reset to come back to this main mode. Kuba, was that a good explanation? Or
yes, that's pretty good. And yeah, that we go more in depth on the Help Center article about this recording controlling your camera frame and recording. Though, please keep in mind, this is very, very soon before we change that. We will announce it like a little bit before we release the version. We'll announce it and how it's going to work and so on and so forth, so that you don't have to, so you're prepared. And we are really simplifying that so it's clear and easy to use. And unfortunately, there will be no Ninja anymore. So,
you won't.
But for now, yes. Yes. Ninja is for your own perspective. That's not recorded, and without Ninja, you are moving around with everything and everyone that is not a Ninja, and you are moving also your recording frame. Just that's a rule of thumb. Okay, so I guess we've answered most of those questions we had. Oh, there's one from Lisa. Will Explain Everything work properly on older iPads version 4? I would have to check. I'm sorry, because I don't remember exactly which iOS version we do support right now. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. Sorry for not being able to answer right now, but yep.
But at least we tried to explain everything. So we hope that this unstructured way of providing live video feed and answering question is still working for you. This is the nature of Explain Everything. As I mentioned, this is also something we think about as our mission to provide software that helps you to do that. It helps you to have sessions where students open up, sharing ideas, explore new directions, and learn by manipulating content or following what you do as a teacher on a canvas of digital whiteboard. So please share your feedback with us. You can contact us using support@explaineverything.com.
Oh, sorry if I just checked the version. So no, it won't work on iPad 4. You would have to have at least iOS 11, and the last version of iOS on iPad 4s was iOS 10. So unfortunately not. Some of the features that were introduced in iOS 11 just prevents us from developing it further for that system. So
I think just to, but I'm not sure, because those older versions of Explain Everything that exist still on iOS, let's say 10 or 9, might be able to upgrade up to the certain release of Explain Everything.
Right? Yeah, I think so. I think if you already had a Explain Everything on your tablet, I think you're still able to download a version that was last supported, but I'm not really sure. Though, like this was iPad 4 premiered 8 years ago, so that's
yeah,
that's a
that's a long time in terms of software development, but I'm pretty sure you can run this. I used the first iPad that was ever released and I downloaded some ancient copy of Explain Everything, and it worked fine. However, make sure to understand that even if it works, you won't be able to collaborate. Most probably you won't be able to collaborate, because with each version we update those protocols that are used in communication across users. So, and just single user mode, it might work, but with collaboration, most probably it won't.
All right, and I guess that's wraps it up. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming, and sorry, Bart, I again interrupted.
That's what we do,
Yeah, that's how we roll.
From time to time. I just wanted to mention that if you'd like to contact us, you can use support@explaineverything.com, although we do have like hundreds of emails to answer. It is a very busy time for us. So that's why it's better even to join another session that we'll have in 2 weeks, as we'll have those open Q&As for you, and we'll be there answering additional questions and illustrating how you can use Explain Everything. So please avoid that, although if there is no way to avoid that and you need our answer quicker, try to also contact us using social media. That's also a way that we can provide you with some answers, or use support@explaineverything.com.
Yep. We try to diversify as much as we can so we can answer as many questions. There's a group on Facebook you can join. It's called Let's Explain Everything Together. There are people joining in and asking questions and try to explain everything together. We post updates there. So if you are a Facebook user, you can find us there. We are also available for you on Twitter and and Instagram as well. Yeah, there are some cool recordings available on Instagram. People share a lot of exciting things when they use Explain Everything. Okay, thank you very
Fantastic.
much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for asking questions. They were great questions. We are happy to answer them. And yeah,
And share your feedback with us. I mean, all illustrations that you share over social media, this is something we watch closely. We are sometimes we're taken by the ways you find Explain Everything useful for you. So if there is something that you discovered and you want to share with us, please do so. This is very encouraging for us to watch what you create.
Yep. Thank you very much again, and see you on the next webinar. I don't know if we schedule the next one. I think it should be up as soon as we can. And
we will have one in agenda for not next week, but week after. So that's dedicated to try to keep with those live Q&As. So
awesome.
Hope to see you next time.
All right. And for those of you who the video will be soon available on YouTube. We'll update it with timestamps soon after, tomorrow probably. And yep, but the link, I think it's already available actually. So if you go to our YouTube page and enter the live Q&A, it should be the same link thereafter. So you'll be able to revisit that. And under any case, you were watching this. Yeah.
Just wait before we trim it. You know, we have to remove all those things where something did not work or we were just making fun.
No.
So
we don't do that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is authentic, as you see. This is live, real time, authentic, kind of messy sometimes, but that's the nature of Explain Everything. So we hope you like that.
Yeah, I'll cut out those two questions where I was wrong about the functionality.
Oh, please don't.
All right, see you everyone. Thank you for coming. Have a great day and great night if you are on the other side of the earth, and happy explaining. Thank you very much.
Stay safe and see you next time.